Hello, hello. Good morning. It's currently 9:30. I think this is like the earliest stream I've ever had. But there's an assload of construction outside right now. So it woke me up a bit earlier. So decided to stream earlier. Luckily, noise suppression is taking care of that for me, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Alright, a couple things on the agenda today. Niagara, of course. But also some widget stuff too. I spent a good portion of last night, yeah, I believe so, touching up some of our widgets that we made that really needed some rework. One of them being the radial wheel for spells. Now, oddly enough, it looks like... Huh, hold on a second. It's not picking up audio for Unreal Engine. But I changed our spell selection menu to a much newer design that's going to fit the theme of the game a little bit more. It's not complete. I only added in the buttons, but these corners here where there's kind of like a triangle almost, that is gonna get changed. I have like a design that I did on Canva for it. Let's see here. I'm going to just quickly remove and re-add the Unreal Engine 5 audio. It's not picking it up for some reason. Sorry guys, give me 1 second here. Okay. Now it's actually working. Oh, I also forgot to bring up Twitch, god damn it. Hold on. And I'm off the ball today. Okay. I just had to change some settings up. The audio was pretty weird. I think we're good now though. Yeah, so the design of the actual spell selection widget, it feels a lot better. It's more responsive. The only thing that I really have to change is kind of like the outside detail, and I think I want to make the buttons themselves a little bit thicker, but in terms of like spell selection, it's at a pretty good angle for all of them. And there's no like clipping or anything. I have the buttons basically formed so there's no like ghost catching. Like typically buttons are like, you know, rectangle, whatever. But I sheared them to like a 26-degree angle or 25-degree angle, something like that. So you're not accidentally like triggering a selection. Yeah, so far so good. Now, how do I want to make the rest of this look? There's a couple things that I was like thinking about. Excuse me. And honestly, I don't know if I want to make it like any bigger, because I really want to keep the player's like viewport pretty clean. So I think I'm going to add like a basic like outline around some of these that's just going to probably glow when this ability is selected. I'm also going to add an audio cue as well for when you're opening, closing, and then highlighting. All right. Gonna turn the music down just a little bit here. Yeah, so the corners we got to take care of. Excuse me. You can kind of see like my past designs for for that widget. Yeah, not great, but like over time of just like testing it out and seeing like what felt good and like what looked good, we finally got to the point where we have this guy, which functionally works perfect, but just gotta touch up a few things. Yeah, last night I was like, okay, like we have this design, don't really like it that much. So I was like messing with different shapes that I would want these like buttons to be. And I was like, oh, like maybe I can go for kind of like a flat thing like this, or maybe like something like that. But I was like, these things like stick out like way too much and they're taking up way too much space. So I was like, huh, I wonder if I could just use the shapes that I have, the menu buttons. And then I came to this, which you can see I have these like triangles here that are basically filling in those gaps. And yeah, I like this design a lot. I'm actually going to take these triangles and export them so we can use them. We'll do 40 by 80. Just call this probably invoke wheel corner 40x80. Where is my textures? Oh, fuck. Messed up. One thing you always want to do is, if possible, just make the color of the thing that you're exporting white. The reason being is because you can change white to any color you want inside of Unreal Engine. If you set it to like any other tone, you won't be able to like mess with the tint and kind of color correct it when it's in the engine itself. So we're going to get rid of this and put the other one in now. I think what we're going to do is, man, did we just put these into an overlay? Maybe. Let's try it this way first, though. By 80. I think this is going to be, yeah, way too big. So we're going to probably put this down to 20 by 40. No, still too big. Real quick, I'm going to move it. Yeah, I think the angle's off actually. No, it'd be 59.5. The thing is, like, I can just barely see this, like, white coming from behind this. And that shit would bother me so bad. I may look crazy, but, I just really want this to look clean. And these lines are gonna drive me, fucking nuts unless I can... Oh, you bastard. Maybe a radial menu will look better. This actually is technically a radial menu. It's a sectionalized one. The reason it's in like pairs of 3 is because each side represents like a rank of the class that you're leveling up. So there's going to be like 3 different ranks to the class. And every time you rank the class up, you get access to 3 abilities. During playtesting, it made it a lot easier to just like have each rank's abilities be on like one side or like a dedicated angle like this. Because when we were testing it out, when I had everything like evenly spread out in like a circle, it was really hard to dictate which rank kind of like affected which ability. So like there was no like good representation for how abilities would be unlocked. So we kind of went with something like this. And it felt a lot better, and intuitively it just like made more sense to people that never played the game when they were using it. But I mean, in the future, like if it comes down to it and it just doesn't work out with a larger volume of playtesters, then yeah, we definitely would just go back to a radial menu. Right now I'm just basically just trying to get these corners pretty much completed. I know it looks like really rough around the edges right here, but it'll look a lot better in a couple minutes here. And barely. can still see just like a little bit of it. Hmm. Real quick, I'm just gonna play it and see. Yeah, so these corner pieces are going to be probably like a very slight off black. One thing I also have to do today is just literally just move the hand like maybe 6 inches, 7 inches to the right. Just because this radial wheel is pretty much overlapping it. But yeah, all right, let's set the color of these after we do the last one. I think this one goes to 178. Yeah. Or no, 180. What am I doing? Go. The last piece of the puzzle. Go to 206. Might be 205.5 actually. An 8. Oh, look at that. That is not good. Alright, let's do it this way. Actually, maybe it's not necessarily the angle. Maybe this just has to be dropped down What, 33? Oh, that's size. What the fuck? Oh, wait. I'm gonna change it back to white so I can actually see if it's clipping outside. Yeah, it is. Alright, so on the X we have to move it here. Way too much. Negative 180. 182. 82.5. 82 point. What this is telling me is this actually probably has to get moved. Alright, we're gonna get this fixed. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Please. Yes, this one actually is almost on the money. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. I mean, the sides look pretty much there. This top though, the Y is definitely off. I'm gonna save this color real quick before I change this. It's off by like 1. Not even. It's like 205.9. No, it's still off. Okay. Well, let me burn my retinas real quick. Maybe a little more. Can't tell if there's like 1 fucking pixel off. It's not centered. Or no. Oh man, okay. That actually was probably skewing a lot of this. Oops. Yeah, because I already had that one set to 35 by 35. Yeah, I thought I copied them all the same size. Let's see. It's like 1, 2 pixels off. Same with this one here. So that means that this side entirely is probably off by just a little bit. That would be why. Do I have the... Oh, that would make 5.5. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This would just be positive 182. Yeah, for some reason the alignment was completely off. I don't remember setting it like that. But you can't have symmetry if the alignment's off like that. Or by that much, I mean. See if there's any gaps. Right there. There's actually gaps on both sides. I didn't notice that before. Very slight ones, but they're there. Okay. Oh my god. The fucking angle was set to -58. At some point during the stream, I think I'll take the filter I have on for like filtering out like background noise, just so you can see, or like just so you guys can hear how loud the construction is. It's actually like physically shaking my apartment. Because I think they're taking like, it sounds like a jackhammer, and they're just like smashing concrete on the porches outside. I think they're like redoing like the railings or something. But it's been about like, I think three or 4 months that they've been doing construction every morning. And I gotta be honest, that shit is like absolutely killed the amount of production I can do with how loud it is. Oh, good morning. I actually did not see the chat, so I apologize if it has taken me a lot longer to respond. I've been just staring at this widget now for what seems like an eternity. I can see like there are very slight gaps, but I think that's because the viewport is at a weird like... Oh no, there's very small breaks in it. But that's okay, because these are actually going to have like a background to them, and I do need there to be like very slight gaps so you can kind of see where the buttons are separated. That's fine. What I just really cared about today was making sure that these like corner pieces are put in place. There's like a slight overlap right there. It looks like these need to be spread out just a little bit more. We're getting there though. It's hard translating the exact dimensions from Canva over to the blueprint here. I think this is only off by like maybe 3 or 4 pixels. -3, -2. Then position X is like what, 26. I'm just trying to have this green line right here just like barely go over the edge of that. I'm going to change this back to white here. Oh shoot, hold on. I got a phone call coming in. Alright, sorry about that. Hey man, good luck for today. Thanks, brother. The daily grind. I appreciate it though. I think this is off by like what, 0.5? Yeah, okay. So, just to make sure that we're going to be mirroring what we're doing on the other side, we're just going to take these, well, we're going to take the X and flip it, the Y is going to be the same. And then here, 105, 104, not 104, 106. Too much. Where the hell did it go? 108. Looks like it's 108, 183. This might actually have to be slightly larger on the X. Let's make it 40 wide. Be safe. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, let's see how this looks. Okay, so the Y probably needs to get increased by, that looks like maybe like 2 or 3. But the alignment looks like it's pretty much there. Damn, the unfortunate part is it actually moves it in that direction too. But that means we just have to move it by 1. And here I think we just move it by like 0.5 for each. $107. See. Actually, just to get a better view of this, I'm going to open up a completely new window to have it stretched out. Now we only want very slight gaps, and I'm talking about like, I mean, you can see how the buttons have very like slight lines between them, because there's going to be like a background behind like these buttons, that's going to be like an off color, so you can actually see like where each button stops and begins, pretty much. So it is near perfect. Maybe a couple pixels off, but nothing too bad. Looks pretty good. Now, the reason we're doing this design, instead of just doing a traditional radial wheel, actually came down to something we found during testing with people that didn't play the game. So if I rank up my Q ability once, right, and we hold Q, the rank 1 of our clash tree for Q grants us 3 new abilities, right? And then if we rank it up a second time, it grants us another 2. And then a third, another 3, I mean. I don't know why I was saying 2. Doing it this way made it a lot easier for people to know what abilities are like in like what section. So we kind of like broke it into like its own individual like sections here. I don't know why that's not the correct color, but I'll figure that out. Oh, it's something with highlighting. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, making it like this made it a lot easier. Like so much easier for people to know like what abilities are they're going to get at like what rank. It made it so they didn't really have to like memorize which abilities would be available, and it made it easier for them to like access like certain rank abilities. But I mean, if we like playtest this with a much larger sample size and they find it confusing for whatever reason, or like it's too difficult to use, then we'll probably just go back to the traditional style. But yeah, so far so good. I'm also using the same playlist from yesterday because that music was like crazy hype. Is the gameplay fast combat gameplay? Yeah, that's the goal. So, you're going to be able to access 20, or actually 30 different abilities. And they're all on these radial menus. So the whole point of it is you can just like quickly access a bunch of different spells really quickly at your disposal and use it. The next thing we're going to be adding is a dodge mechanic, which is going to be a roll that gives the character about 0.5 seconds worth of invulnerability during the roll, kind of like how like Dark Souls does it. And the whole point is we'll give like 2 charges to the player that it's on like maybe a 10-second cooldown for the charge. But as long as you understand the abilities that your opponent has, there's always going to be an option for counterplay when they do something. Before in the game, we had all the abilities just instantly spawn at the location. So like this one, for instance, you could see that it's like an AoE. Our player's a wizard? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're like... It's a Norse or like Nordic themed game. I love Norse mythology. So, you're basically going to be like a Nordic mage. But one of the things that we made for combat was we had shit where like stuff just spawned like instantly. Like when I would cast this ability, it would just spawn the collision box at the location and it would expand or whatever. We made the decision to move everything to a projectile based combat, meaning that combos are like way easier to set up because you can just like queue up abilities to land at a location without having them like instant spawn. And it gave players a chance to react to abilities that are, you know, being shot at them. Yeah, the projectiles feel a lot better. That's for sure. Another like another benefit of using projectiles is a huge problem with first-person games is if you take League, for example, I know it's like Skyview. When you're aiming abilities in like a MOBA like that, you can like pinpoint accurately, like drop an ability on somebody, right? Because the angle that you're looking at the playing field is like near top down. You're at like maybe a slight angle, but you know, you're perfect. In first person, since you're on the ground looking in a distance, you actually lose accuracy at farther distances because you can't aim directly on the ground. The further an object is, or like a part of the landscape is away from the player, the less accuracy you're going to have at farther distances. But with projectiles, when I'm aiming away, all I have to do is look a little bit further up and the projectile will move at an arc, which is huge because that means you can like more accurately target players with spells. Before, when you tried to do this, it would just like, as soon as you got to like this point here and you tried to place an ability down, it would just like jump probably about maybe like 10 meters or so at further distances. What about rune traps? So we're designing some classes. I'll just say that. The next class that is basically guaranteed to happen is going to be kind of like an earthbending class. We've been testing out some abilities. I mean, like the rock wall thing is one of them, right? The animation hasn't been imported from our old system, but the name of the game is terrain manipulation and destructible terrain via other abilities. So you're basically going to be able to throw boulders and shit, and you can blow the boulders up mid-flight, all that. But traps are something we looked into. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of like warlocks and like necromancy shit. So what I'm currently looking into now is making like a class that its sole purpose is to do damage over time and like spread like diseases or like plagues. So just going to be kind of like tick damage on like multiple entities at once. I don't know, there's something like oddly satisfying about it for me. So we're looking to get that put into the game. Yeah, enchanters are something that we have in the game now. Part of the druid class is actually that. We also have like shape-shifting and everything too. Animation isn't there. But again, we have an old model that has all the animations, and currently right now we just are focusing on getting all the ability projectile animations done, and then we're going to move everything else. I'm probably at some point going to make a video showing the older versions of the game, because we've made a lot of changes. Before, I don't know if anybody here has played Dota 2, but the concept of the game came from a character called Invoker from Dota 2, and we had it where you would press Q, E, and R, and you would make a combination of those 3 keys to like conjure an ability, and then you would left click to use it. Well, considering I couldn't even remember all the combinations to the abilities we had, because there's like 30 of them, we scrapped that idea and changed it all to radial menus, and it's a lot easier to use. Like a lot easier. But yeah, today we're going to be finishing up some animations. I just wanted to get that radial wheel pretty much done, besides like adding in like the background art to it, but that's going to come later on. Functionally, it's pretty much complete now. We just got to do a little bit more testing with it, see if there's any bugs. Which I actually did find one, so let me mark that. Totem summon. So right now Druid is a shape-shifting support class with defensive abilities. Each class kind of has like a main objective for it to do. Druid is like a support and like defensive style class with a bit of utility. Tempest is pretty much like a combo class. Tempest has an auto attack where you gain stacks of something called intensity, and what intensity does is you can get up to 5 stacks of it. And when you use an ability on somebody and it hits them, it will consume all the stacks of intensity and increase the amount of damage done to that target via the ability you hit them with. So it's kind of like a setup and combo, and then Pyromancy is about applying stacks of burn through your auto attacks and abilities. And the more stacks of burn that the target has, the more damage they're going to take per tick. So Pyromancy is more about like sustained damage. Tempest is more about burst. Druid is about kind of like healing, support, and like defense. Those are the 3 classes that we currently have in testing. We're going to be adding more soon though, once we get combat pretty much done with the new models and the new combat system with the projectiles. Bugs, hold on. I gotta put that one bug in here that I found. It was hover effect. Triggers wrong color for wheel selection. Okay. I think I can also show like some concepts and everything we have. I mean, you can see like the garbage wheel designs I had for the previous iterations. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Yikes. Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna move this over here just so I can pull up the other stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, I see it now. That's funny. I didn't notice it before, but yeah. It kind of does. I've had like a bunch of concepts for like HUDs, main menus, all that stuff. But those ideas are pretty much like scrapped. This was designs for like basic menus and art style. Or loading screens and shit. This here is the passive skill tree that we have in the game currently. The only thing that's not implemented is the these seals right here at the end of the skill trees. Why are you just sitting? I'm not sitting, I'm slouching. I'm trying to give myself spinal cord problems by making sure that my pelvis is tilted at 120 degrees. I'm kind of just going over some like old stuff, to be honest with you. It's fun to look at the old. Yeah, you can see like all the concepts and shit that we had for setting up the passive system. What we currently have in the game now for it is this. Let me go to the map. The hell is it? Yes, sir. I keep saying like we, like I'm working with people, but I feel like that's just a habit. Yeah, it's just me, myself, and I. Yeah, the current iteration of our passive skill tree is this. And the way it works is you can select one, or you can put like 1 point into like each thing, or you can put up to 3. And what this allows players to do is, if you just want one attribute to max out a build, you're able to like you have to put something in it to like get to that. But once you get to that point, you can just concentrate on that. So it's a small like price to pay that rewards you with kind of the build path that you'd want to go with. I also wasn't able to edit the stream title today, but today is 147, or day 147 of the project. Uh-oh, that's a bug. I think that has something to do with the camera itself. With the model. I think it's trying to target the old name for the old character's socket name to reattach the camera. Man, that sound has to get like redone. The big white thing? So in order to get more performance without putting like a bunch of like lights in the game, a good way to do it is if you use emissive lights, you can get like a very soft light that looks natural to kind of light the whole room. So for instance, if I take this thing out, you're going to see how dark this shit gets. So what I'm going to do is just move this up like that. See how bad this looks? So if you have this in the game here, which it doesn't have collision and it's hidden in game, it's only viewable inside the actual editor itself, you get this really, really good lighting for your whole interior. And the best part is it has pretty good performance. The blue means good. Just for like a heads up. But yeah, there's not a lot of material on like interior lighting, but the way you can get good interior lighting is using emissive. No, you're not asking dumb questions at all. You're asking the good questions. The thing is, like, I had to learn all this shit on my own through trial and error. I've made like a lot of terrible games to get to this point, to where I have kind of like the know-how to do a handful of things. So yeah, I mean, use me as a resource. If you have questions on how to do shit, definitely don't be shy. I'm here to help. Out of everything in this room, this is like the one thing that I'm most proud of. It's not done yet, but it's getting there. This little like plane that's on the bottom here, like you can see the pieces moving around when you click on this. This plane on the bottom is actually going to be a 3D representation of the current selected map. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to export the landscape and turn it into a height map, which we're then going to turn into a static mesh based on that height map. So it's going to actually have the exact shape of the landscape of that map. It's going to look pretty cool. The next map that I'm actually going to make on stream is a, it's going to be like an ice canyon. Why is it Team 0 and Team, so the reason it's set up that way is the way I have the team generation system. Is it all about the bool? Not about the bool, it's actually about an array. So the team system that I made here is something that I can actually copy and paste to any other game, like multiplayer game I make from this point on. It works by generating an array of team data, and you can set it to have different team sizes, different amounts of teams, different player amounts. So it's a completely dynamic team system that you can change like instantly, and what it will do is it will auto generate all of the buttons to change your team, and it will be able to change the team name and everything as well. So you can make like 2 teams of like 16 players each, and it will generate 2 16 row columns. Right now I just have it set to be 2 teams of 4, but I could set the teams and the team sizes to anything I want, and it will automatically generate the widget for me. I don't have to go in and build it myself. So that was like the main goal of that, is because I didn't know what I didn't know what the player size was going to be like for the maps, so I wanted something that I could just set on the fly and have it just build itself for me. So, long story short, Team 0 just means that this is index 0 in the array of teams. At some point I'll probably change it to where it just adds like a +1 to the team name, so it can actually show the correct one, but no rush. So that's the lobby map, and then this is the arena map. So players start in these areas here, and when the match starts, the doors open, game begins. Yeah, it all makes sense in the end, at least to me. Yeah, but today, I'm gonna finish up some effects, and I might get started on making the new Ice Canyon map that we're going to be using for a more like interactable map. It's going to be essentially a map with 2 sides, and there's going to be like a giant ravine in the middle. And the only way that you can get to the other side of the map is by blowing up the base of these giant ice pillars. And when you do that, it will create a bridge across to the other side. So you're basically going to have to pick and choose what bridge you want to make by doing that. Yeah, I can give you a little demo of what that looks like. Let me go back to the sanctuary map. You'll be able to see what happens. So, if I go here, select that team, select the other team. Oh, almost forgot the most important thing. So, in this game, we use something called seamless travel. So what that enables us to do is we're able to like maintain player data through traveling to different maps. Because normally what would happen is the players would like disconnect from the server, then reconnect to the new one onto the new level. But what seamless travel allows us to do is maintain player data. So I have to enable that every single time I open the editor, and I almost forgot to do it, which would have more than likely bricked my game. But what happens is, at the beginning of the round, you gain 2 levels in this mode. Then the doors open, and you enter the arena and fight. And it's basically a single elimination game mode. So when you die, you don't respawn until the next round. And it's basically a 3v3 and 5v5 game mode. That's what I currently have it set to. Thanks. A lot of effort went into it. So many hours. It's hard, but super rewarding. Mainly because I don't know, you get like ideas and you're like, shit, I want to make that. And some things don't turn out that well, but other things, when they do, it's just so fulfilling. Like for instance, this animation I've been working on for the past 4 days. Context, I suck at visual effects. Never been good at them. So I've been like really like trying to learn how to do or like use the Niagara system better than I have previously. So like this attack animation, it sends basically like these rings out with like a shockwave effect after it, which you can see the shockwave effect moving away when the player punches. And this shit took so fucking long to make. Mainly because I had no idea what I was doing. But I finally got it to the point where I'm like pretty happy with it. I just have to tweak some of the sounds, and I have to make an additional sound for selecting abilities. Shouldn't it be faster? Yeah, I was thinking that too. So there's like a lot of stuff I gotta tweak with it. I did make it really fast before. It looked kind of awkward. I don't know. It's like it's really hard to determine like what speed I should make it. Because when it gets further away, it's really hard to see. So I think I slowed it down so players can actually like they can actually see the effect. It's kind of like a time warp almost look to it. Like a ripple in time. But yeah, probably at some point I'm going to go back and actually speed it up. I'm always looking for feedback. That's for sure. Let's go into our Niagara effects. How hard is programming to learn? I get asked this question a lot actually, and it all depends on a couple things. Well, first off, have you used like blueprints or like any other type of like programming or like scripting language before? Because that'll determine how I answer that question. Okay, so do you use blueprints? Because if you use blueprints, then it's not as hard as people make it out to be, because blueprints can be translated directly into C++. I think the hardest part for people to learn or grasp is like syntax of coding. But once you get like the very like basic understanding of like syntax, you're able to start reading code, and then you're able to start kind of like creating it on your own, and like everything just starts making a lot more sense. Greedy, Tenenboker, Deathmatch. I recommend adding class-based invulnerability skills for the future. Just give them a precious metal that will cast their rune or skill and make gatherable from maps. I actually have an invulnerability skill on the pyromancy clash tree. I think it's called Engulfing Flame, and what it does is it surrounds like the player in like fire, and they basically absorb damage that comes to them for I think a second and a half or something. That's what we have it set at. And it's broken as shit. It's like, it is such a crazy strong ability. Like, we first had it at 3.5 seconds for whatever reason, and that was way too fucking strong. And we were like, alright, let's nerf it down by 2 seconds, and it's still crazy strong. But yes, we do definitely plan on adding some abilities like that in the future. Yeah, so this swirling effect, I believe, is the one we're using for our current animations. I will say probably the most important thing out of like even like programming or any of that shit is make sure that your project is organized. Should I start with Unreal or do something else? So that all depends on what you're trying to make. If you're trying to make a 3D game, before I would have recommended Unity, but after that whole debacle about them basically just trying to money grab, I don't know if I can recommend them anymore. So if you're trying to make something 3D, Unreal is probably the way to go for now. It is a little bit of a learning curve, but I do have a bunch of materials for getting started with Unreal. I actually have a bunch of like courses and like documentation and shit inside the Discord, which I use Discord just because it's pretty easy to upload links to share to people there. So I have like 2 sections in that Discord, one for C++ and then one dedicated for Unreal Engine. Oh, it looks like I use... Oh, that's what that is. Okay. Yeah, called Invoking then. For 2D, Got It is pretty good, I've heard. Personally haven't used it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. You can make stuff 2D in Unreal, but if you're making a 2D game, like... It's hard to say. I think Unreal would be overkill for a 2D game, but you can definitely make it. I feel like it's a bit harder though, just because Unreal really tries to push like the 3D aspect of their engine onto you. So a lot of the shit that they have made is mainly for 3D. Yeah, so this animation is the one thing that we want to fix. I think I want to put like a glowing circle behind it that looks like it's absorbing all these particles. We can add in another emitter here. And we would make this one a little bit bigger. Like that. And we would probably make it like a darker color. might be too much. Size is definitely too much. Then what we can do is we could probably add like a pulsing effect to it, where it just goes up and down in color. Let's add scale color, and it would be scale alpha by curve, or float from curve rather. Just do something like that. We can probably put this at like 0.3 on these sides, so it doesn't fully go away. And I think the edges of this particle are a bit too sharp, so we probably want to blur it as well. How old am I? Well, I feel like I'm 72, but that's because I'm a game developer. But I'm actually 27, or no, 28. I think. I lost track of time. I put it to 0.5 actually. Man, there's just something like off just a little bit with it. Maybe it's the size. No, it's definitely the edge of this. Yeah, we gotta blur the edge. I wonder if there actually is a blur effect here. Yeah. So it looks small here. If we open it up in the game itself, it'll look a little bit bigger in the player's hand. There's also another problem. See how the effect is cutting into the player's hand here? We definitely don't want that. You can also see, like, I guess it might be kind of hard to see, but there's this like outline around it as well. Maybe we don't want to do it that way then. Think you place that like a wall or something? Yeah, so it's one of the character's abilities. It's a rock wall that they can spawn. So it's one of the things that we were testing with terrain manipulation. So like players are able to like place shit like that, and then there are certain abilities that can blow them up. The goal is to create like a more interactable environment. So terrain manipulation was one of the things that I wanted to put into the game. I keep saying we, but like, yeah, I wanted to put it in. I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and earthbending was like the coolest shit to me, so I wanted to add that into the game. Now I can't call it that, but I want to add something similar to it. Maybe it's the material we're using. Not textures, materials, where are you at? Abilities, casting. Right now I'm going to take a material and just change it up a bit to make it work a little bit better with what I'm trying to do. Oh, yeah, actually. It's not Fresnel. Hmm. Would you get a laptop or a PC? Honestly, I hate giving this answer, but it really depends on your situation, you know? Like if you're moving around a lot, and you work out of the house more often than not, then laptop, but like if you're barricaded into your home, then probably a PC. Is it linear gradient? No, it's definitely radial. Oh no, it is radial or linear. I wonder if there's actually... Oh, it's not that. Shit. No, not a crash. Fuck. I'm gonna be a good person and send that report to him. Probably something on my end that fucked up, but if I can help him out, sure. Oh, hey. I actually have no idea how long you sent that message ago, and I apologize. I have a YouTube chat to my left and then Twitch chat to the top monitor here. What language is the best? Oh, C++, because I'm biased as shit. So yeah, C++. Nah, but in all seriousness, it depends on what you're going for, or like what you want to do. For game development, I mean, like the industry standard is C++. The easiest language? Oh man, I'm gonna catch heat for saying this shit, but Python probably. And to be fair, I've learned about 5 languages, maybe 6. JavaScript, Java, Python, C++, C. Oh, there was another one, so maybe 5. Yeah, but Python has been the easiest. It's a very, it's a word, what's a good word for it? Literal language. Like, there's not like a lot of crazy syntax like Java and C++. Their naming convention for some of the like fundamental stuff of like syntax is very straightforward. So it just makes it easier for people getting into programming to understand how it works. Traditional languages aren't as graceful with portraying what they're trying to do unless you understand how it works. Alright, let's crash my editor again by sending this shit through. Thought it was like a maybe it's not Fresnel, or maybe it's like the opposite. I'm not anything great with materials, unfortunately. The way my brain works, I would expect this to work, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, this must be the opposite of what this is outputting. Result expression calculates a fall off based on the dot product of the surface. Does anybody know if there's an inverse function for materials? Look it up, shall we? Oh, is it 1 minus? Is that what I'm looking for? Yes, it is. Thanks, Google. Alright, so we're going to make a material instance out of this and try it. Here we are. CPU sim. Ew, get that the fuck out of here. Why am I... Okay. And I need to like wake up. Okay, the edges are not as harsh. I mean, this is not really something you notice. Mainly because I want it to be like a very small visual effect. The whole purpose is to add like a very light glow. I can still see it like cutting off at the bottom here. I have to probably use one of the material functions that detects collision at an edge and like softens the material. Alright, 1 second here. I feel like messing with Niagara effects is probably not the best thing to do on stream, eh? Mainly because it's not like my it's not the best thing, or it's not something I'm like particularly great at. So like part of the time I'm actually just researching and looking up how to do certain things and have certain effects. One of the things that I really want to do is have the opacity of this thing basically just slowly go to 0 when the character selects their ability. I have a couple ideas on how I want to do that. Hello, G-Man. Welcome back. I'm still staring endlessly into this Niagara system, hoping that it comes to me. Probably do a scale, no, not size, color. Maybe, actually, it might be size later on. Just join the Discord. Yeah, you'll see 2 text channels. One for C++ and the other one is for Unreal Engine 5. And I'll have a bunch of materials and or a bunch of documentation and like courses and stuff. None of them I am affiliated with, so there's no like kickback or anything for me. It's just shit for you guys. Alright, instead of messing with these effects, I'm gonna look and see if there's something else that I can add on stream here. A little bit better. I mean, shit, one of the things I can start doing is start planning out the canyon map. Oh, what's the red spike when I shoot stuff? So right now for testing, I just have collision boxes set up for testing. So like instead of visual effects, I have a mesh that's just growing in size, so you can see like the hitbox of that effect when it lands. Like if I hit another player, for instance, like this guy, when he gets hit by it, I just have it launch him into the air. Like that. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll start working on the new map on stream. I'll work on the like Niagara stuff off stream, just because I don't want to waste people's time trying to do that. You feel like it should grow faster? Oh, dude, I mean, we can have this be whatever we want. Like, watch this. If I just go into my spells, if I can find the right thing for it. Let's see here. We'll have it grow still for 3 seconds. We'll have it grow at 8 times the speed. And then when I do this now, it's going to grow at an insanely rapid pace. I mean, we can make it look like a tactical nuke if we wanted it to. Yeah, the way I built the spell system makes it so I can just pretty much make like any spell and have it do pretty much anything I need it to. Hold on. Can I hit myself with it? Yeah, I can. So one of the things that you're able to edit about the spell is if it impacts the player who casted it. Excuse me. I think I need coffee or something. But right now I don't think I have that turned on. Yeah, so we can pretty much make any ability that we want. You can set the damage of the ability, if it's a duration or not, all that kind of shit. But I'm gonna reset this back to what it was before. I think that was it. New level, empty. If I throw it under, can I launch myself up? Yeah. So I'm able to like make an ability that can do that. I mean, I could edit the ability in the blueprint real quick and change it so it can shoot me up. Shit, my apologies. I don't know why I'm yawning like crazy. We're just gonna call this Ice Canyon. If I think of a better name, I'll change it up later. Or we're gonna make like a Blizzard-ish theme map. That would be sick. Yeah, I do have one ability like that. It's in the Tempest class, I'm pretty sure. So the way this map is probably going to be is diagonal, like that. So this should be fine. Overall resolution, blah blah, scale. Yeah, good to me. Welcome back. We'll probably end up using the mirror effect on this at some point. Let's see here. I actually want to get a size reference on this, so I'm going to put down one of our characters, because I really don't want this to be a absolutely like large map. Yeah, we'll just cut it down the middle. Welcome back. Can you have multiple players running off your PC to test stuff? Yeah, you can have, I think the limit is what? They have 4 here. You might be able to tweak that though. I usually run it with 2 to 3. You cooked a good meal. Sounds like a good time. Not an endorsement. I just felt like I should say that. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word. I gotta say though, I am not a fan of mushrooms. So that dish would be a no from me. Mushroom hater. You're damn right. I am a mushroom hater. The idea for this map is I'm actually going to make this multi-vertical. As in, like, I'm going to have kind of like a center here. And then I'm going to have like areas that are just down. Not that down. Mushrooms are ass. Yeah. Thick, creamy, and cheesy. I fuck with mac and cheese, but not that mushroom stuff. At least I got popcorn. Yeah, there you go. You stack the walls on top of each other? Oh, the ability? Or the wall ability I showed you earlier? I actually don't want to smooth these out. This is going to be a little bit harsher. Can you stack them on top of each other? Maybe? I don't think I ever tried that. But you might be able to. I'm just thinking about how many, because this whole map is basically going to be about essentially Z-axis fighting. So there's going to be multiple different levels to this, and I just want to see like how far down I really want to go with it. Maybe like one one or two more. Yeah, there's also going to be ice pillars across the sides as well, giving more platforms. I'll have to increase the tool strength here. I'm going to sculpt this out at a later point once I determine that this is how I want it to be. And you guys are just arguing with each other. Why can't we be all friendly? What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think one more. You have the palate of a newborn. God. Yeah, the tool is way too strong. Definitely have to push this back. Is this map also gonna have doors? This one probably won't have doors. It'll probably just have a probably have like a metal gate or something. I actually want these to get a little bit more cut in. We're going to smooth out the middle but not touch the edges. Okay. So right now I'm kind of just like thinking about how many access points do I want to give, and what's the best way to prevent camping. All right, man. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. It says there are 12 people watching, but only me and G-Man are watching. What is going on? Well, right now it's only you. I think the second access point for this side will probably be over here. I don't know. I guess just lurkers then. Okay. This is probably where the spawn room is going to be. Actually, better yet, I could probably make it inside the like an ice cave or something. Might look a little bit better. So actually, let's revert that stuff. I don't think that's what that means. I don't think I have visibility set up in this yet. No, I don't. Okay. Fine. So visibility allows us to cut through the actual landscape itself, so I can put holes in it. Let's see what this looks like. So the important part here is we want symmetry for access points and main ramps. For aesthetics, it's not going to be symmetrical though. I just want the main locations for player movement to be almost identical. But the way the map's actually going to look in the end is not going to be. I think the next thing we're going to do is grab materials and actually assemble the map. I don't want to sculpt any landscape until I have like the base material for it. I mean, this is going to be an ice canyon, so there's a lot of things we have to consider when doing this. Sharp edges, so these peaks here and everything are going to be a little bit more rigid than they are now. Me flattening and using the flattening tool on these edges here to give it like hard cuts like this was something I did more or less on purpose, and I just had to find a decent enough texture to where I don't have to smooth out these hard cuts as much, because I really do want the this kind of like really sharp and clear cut edging on the sides of the cliffs. So we're going to be doing the full design of this, and I'll probably turn it into like a speed design, speed art. I think this is actually going to be considered speed design because it's not going to be just aesthetics, it's going to be like implementation. I want to actually show you guys like my decision making for routing players a certain way on this arena map. And putting certain vantage points at certain locations. We may change some of this. The one thing I want to prevent is like camping on the Z-axis, meaning like high ground advantage has to be nerfed, and the way we're going to do that is having like rocks on the overhang or overpasses here, so you can't just camp these locations. For ramps, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to prevent that, but I think we're smart enough to come up with something. I have 2 ideas for it that I've used in the past, so we'll try those out and see how it feels. I'm probably gonna do is take a quick lunch break, come back, and then we'll tackle the rest of this map design. It's not just map art, like this is gonna be a usable multiplayer map. So we'll get it all built, and then we'll do some testing. And we're gonna add destructible environment to it. It'll be pretty neat. But for now, I am gonna head out, and yeah, I'll be back probably about an hour or two, depending on when I finish. But with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.